Am I online? Hi, hi. Hey, hey. I think I'm online. I don't know. I think yes, 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 yes. Hey, hey. Why are there already 36 people in here? I know it's free knowledge. No one has anything to do. There's this epidemic out there. That's quite funny. That's quite funny. Hello, everyone that wants to learn something. It is about basics, right? We're talking about basics. It's not like we're diving deep into it. I just want to start a project now. We're going for an hour or so. We see if this is useful. I will come back tomorrow, the day after, whatsoever, right? So let's just dive into it. If you want to also do this with me, you are free to open your own TIA portal if you have it. If you do not have TIA portal, I will post a download link, which won't really help because you need to register and it takes like a day to download. But here we go. I will give you the download link. So for the next video, you could have TIA portal. So here we go. There's a download link for TIA portal if you want to have it. 21 days free. That's probably how long this epidemic will be. The closure of everything might be. So yeah, don't know yet. What we're going to do today is, it's just really starting a new project, right? We're just starting to see a new project, and I can see everyone says hello, so hi, hi, hi. I can see you. I can see you, but I can read you. I can read the chat. What I'm going to do is going to work with a simulation, right? I read Factory.io a lot, and I do not really like Factory.io. Main reason, it's expensive. Second reason, it's not really for education. It's for playing around. It's for having fun. It's pretty cool, but I personally do not really like it. That's why I am developing my own tool right now. And this is also what I'm doing. I will put... Wait a second. I will also put a download link to this. So second download link is to my simulation software. It won't work for yours. You can download it, you can play around with it a little bit. It won't really work for the reason that it is not finished, right? It is not finished. But for today, this is the system we are going to work with. You see just a little conveyor system. We have here a push button, the red one. You see it, boop, 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 boop. I can press it. The green one, boop, 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 boop. I can press it. We have two sensors, you see, in the beginning and in the end here. And I can put boxes on this belt, right? That's what we can do. So I can also put more boxes, blah, 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 blah. But we want to transfer those boxes, right? Pressing those push buttons, we want to transfer the boxes. Step one, very simple, very easy. I want to transfer it. So you see, I've got this thing here set up in the background. It doesn't do anything. This is just a visualization of what I'm going to use right now. We're going to simulate everything, but I've got this thing also sitting here, right? So it's very similar to the one you see there, except for the dust, of course. This has so much dust. Hi from coronavirus. Yeah, everything here seems safe so far. So I don't know a single person that that has corona, and I don't know a person that knows a person. So everything here seems safe, but we're still pretty much in lockdown. So I have not been outside in like 3 days, which is pretty normal for me, of course. So we're going to touch this thing, right? We're going to work with this. Can I actually jump on it? No, I can't. And of course, we're not directly hooking it up to the conveyor, right? Hello to all the states that have been mentioned so far. Hello, everyone. Yeah. Yeah, we will be using, of course, contactors that are in between. So we have the PLC that will activate a forward contactor. Then the belt will go forward. And we have the PLC that will connect to the reverse contactor, which will make the belt run in reverse. But as you see, nothing happens yet when I press those buttons, which is, of course, where our good TIA portal comes into play. And I've got that open here already. So this is what we will also start with. If you have TIA portal, you can also open it up. You can copy and paste. The only thing is that you do not have this running yet. So I will make a video on how to make this run, but that's not the goal right now. The goal is just see and learn. And if you've got questions, put them in the chat. I have the chat open. Might take a minute or two to get through the comments, but yeah. So I just want to make a new project. Let's just make a new project. I will call this Hello Everyone. No exclamation mark. Let's create the project. Ja, there was this German comment from Benjay. Wenn dein Alltag von der Gesellschaft als Quarantäne bezeichnet wird. Yeah, pretty much for me, nothing has changed. We're not yet in quarantine, but we are going to be probably in the next days. I'd assume it, like it's in Italy, it's in France, so we are probably under lockdown soon as well. But for me, nothing changes. The only thing that changes, I can't go on a walk every day. Like classes are canceled and that stuff, of course, but I can't just go outside and have a walk. But yeah, that's how it is. Nothing much changes. That's why I'm right now standing. And the best thing is, and yes, we're going to start with programming soon. I've got this right here at my table, which is a stepper. So what I usually do when I program or when I do something on my PC is I'm just walking, right? So I don't even need to go outside. So good. We have our project set up. That's how I keep healthy. That's why I'm heavily overweight. Good. So we have our project set up. Of course, the first thing we need to do is we need to define. Like this right now, we need to define what do we want to program. Without like putting any behavior in there or something, we first need to define, right? We need to define what we need to program. And of course, in our case right now, I want to program an S7 1500. So the first thing we need to do is add this S7 1500 to our project, which I will do here. I could go devices and networks in our view and click on project view or click on project view. And this brings me here. There I have add new device. Or here, there's also this add new device. I prefer the project view because it's more detailed. You can do everything just right here. So I will just add a new device. And right now, actually, it doesn't really make a difference which PLC we take. We could take a 300, 400, 1500, 1200. Wouldn't make much difference, but as this is the future, as the 1500 is the future for the PLCs of Siemens, I like to take also 1500. And here we go. This is the one. This precise type here is the one I've got here. This is the stepper. I didn't want to take the stepper. I want to take the PLC, right? This is the one I've got here. Sorry. This one. This one here, right? That's the exact type. So that's what we need to do. If you would want to program a different PLC, like a 1200, you would of course choose this other PLC. This is just the one that you have, that you want to program. To a certain degree, you can change that later on. So if you do a mistake in the beginning, you can still change that later on. I just ramped myself with the stepper. You can see. Yeah. But for now, I will take the 1500 and let's take this type. That's exactly what I've got sitting on my table. I will hit OK, boop. And now it will, it will show up here somewhere on the screen. It will take a minute or two depending on your PC, depending on your setup. Some people have asked me about how strong is your PC, like why is TIA Portal running so fast? And here are the specs. I cannot show you the code there. I can show you the specs. There is this. Yeah, that's enough. Those are enough specs. You don't need more. I have 32 gigabyte of RAM and I am using an i7 8700K, which is quite a strong CPU. This is a gaming PC. So it usually doesn't run that fast on laptops or so, but it runs pretty fast on this PC, of course. Yeah. So now that we have this set up here, right? We have our hardware added. So we have the PLC. We know what we want to program. And just by the way, hello to everyone. How do we decide? So you can ask questions. I will try to read the questions in between and answer them. So how do we decide on the firmware version? So if you add a new device, let's say the one I have, so this one here, and you see this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 firmware versions, right? 5 versions. And you see 1.8. This text here, do you see the text? It's very short. So there's not as many features. If I go to 2.6, there is a lot of more features. Those features are software based. So they are really in the software on the PLC. So you can upgrade. If you buy this PLC and you buy it in version 1.8, you can download. You just have to Google it. And I made a video. Just go to my channel and check out, hey, update firmware. I've made a video especially about this. If you need some of the new features, you can just upgrade this PLC, downloading the firmware and putting it on the device. I've made a video about it. It's pretty easy, actually. If you are not sure which firmware your PLC has, take the oldest one. Because you see, this has so many features, and the 2.6 in this case has just more features. That means the 2.6 supports everything that we have in the 1.8, but the 1.8 does not support everything in the 2.6. So if we want to take something in the software, we take the 1.8 if we're not sure, because this fits inside the 1.8, it fits inside the 2.0, it fits inside the 2.1, it fits inside the 2.6. So the 1.8 fits everything. So if you're not sure, just take the lowest version. You might not have all the features, but you have a compatible firmware version. So yeah, that's how we decide. And in the end, if you are if you just put in a wrong firmware and it isn't compatible with your device, you can always right-click and change device. Right-click, change device, and then choose either a different device or the same device with a different firmware version. And you see there are some points that are now yellow in this list down here. Those are all the features that I'm going to lose if I downgrade in the firmware version. Not too important, just because there was the question. So right now there's actually nothing we would need to do here. If we have a standalone system, we don't need to do anything. I just have to do 2 things because I want to communicate with my simulation here. In my simulation, I have programmed in a specific IP address. So if I use this PLC, it needs a specific IP address. So I can just double click here on those ports, those so-called ports. And here I need to type in the specific IP address that I that I have in my simulation software as well, which is exactly this. If you do not network your devices, so if your device doesn't communicate anywhere, you don't need to take care of the IP address, right? TIA Portal takes care of everything. If you do not have any specifics, you don't need to. May I go to the bathroom? Yes, of course you may. And there's one more thing I need to set only for my simulation, because my simulation uses communication, right? It uses a specific IP address, and it also uses some specific mechanics. You don't need to do this, right? You don't need to do this. It's just for me. I need to go to protection. I need to activate this checkbox. Doesn't matter. It's just for my simulation software. If you want to use my simulation software, you need to activate put get communication. There, somewhere there. Why do I have dirt on here or something? Yeah, so that's what I need to do for my simulation. If you want to create a hardware independent is quite difficult. You will at least need to know, do you have a 1200, 1500 or 300? Let's say you have a 300, you know that, you can go there and you can say down here, unspecified CPU type. You see it? If you choose unspecified CPU type, you will not have a specific CPU in there. You can still access the features of the 300 family, but you can do that later. Like you can choose the correct PLC that you have later on. With the 300, you also have the advantage. That's why I say take the 300. You can right click and then migrate to a 1500. So if you have a 300, you can always upgrade to a 1500. That's possible because the 1500 can do almost everything that a 300 can do. That's just small things. But we don't want the 300, we want the 1500. So now that I have my PLC set up here, right? Now that I have my PLC, yeah, 60 people, that's quite nice actually. That's a huge class. Sometimes I've been teaching at, what is it? High school of applied science, I don't know, university, let's say university, and there's sometimes like 70, 80 people, but 64, that's already quite a lot. Hello out there, my fans. Yes. So what we need to do, now we have chosen the hardware. We know, hey, I want this controller, I wanted to do that. We don't need to, but for organization, it would be best to teach the program, hey, there is this push button. Hey, there is this push button. Hey, there is this sensor. Hey, there is this sensor. Hey, there is a contactor for forward and there's a contactor for reverse. This is the best way to do that right in the beginning, to teach your program. You have all of these, right? You have all of these. And this is also what I will do now. And therefore, let's click on this button. Wait a second. I have this, which is both in parallel, yes. So now you can see both things in parallel. Now you can see both in parallel. And this, what I said, we need to add all of those things to TIA Portal into our project. We can do here in PLC tags. In PLC tags, we define, hey, we have a sensor. Hey, we have a contactor. This contactor is going to activate a motor. But we have two push buttons, right? We have push button red, we have push button green, we have sensor in the beginning, sensor in the end, and forward reverse, right? So this is what we want to define, and that's why we have the PLC tags. And I will just go here and create a new tag table. A tag table is a collection of things. So I will just call this tag table conveyor, right? And I will double click to open it. I double click to open, and you see this conveyor list. This is now just a list, right? You don't need to work with this list, but it's way more convenient. If you know it from Semantic Manager, this list was highly optional. Now in TIA Portal, it is mandatory to work with this list. Well, all variables that you create are put in such a list, which was not the case for Semantic Manager, but you don't have to work with it. It's still optional to work with it, but it's very, very convenient. So let's see, let's make this a little bit bigger and this a little bit smaller here. Yeah, like this. So we need red, green, sensor beginning, sensor end, and I will just create those. This is red button, green button, sensor beginning, sensor end, and we have forward reverse, right? The conveyor can go forward reverse, so that's also things that we have. Let's say forward, yeah, that's easy, and reverse. Yeah. Yeah, I will make another video about how to work with my simulation software and stuff like that. This is just optional, right? This was just optional. Yeah, exactly what Adrian said. You are really not using absolute addresses. You are using tags. Those are so-called tags or symbols, right? Symbolic. We are using those in our program and wherever we need them. And the address we can change at any time. So if this has an input and the input module is broken for whatever reason, we can just change the address and it will go to another input module. So we are highly independent of the hardware. Back in the days, it was always really just with just with addressing, which led to a lot of problems. And yes, there is a Siemens guideline, programming guideline thing, which has like 78 pages, and that's pretty nice. I can recommend it. So now we just have to find out where are all of these, right? Now I would, of course, look in the technical specification of my system here, which I have, of course, in my mind right now. It would be better to have it really written down somewhere. That's why you have documentation. But let's see. If you do not have documentation, here is what you can do. There is so-called watch tables. Watch and force tables. You see this one here, watch and force tables? I will add a new table. A watch and force table is for testing out your programs, for testing your machine. It's just for testing, right? And I know forward reverse should be outputs. We'll get there in a second. So in here, I just want to check, because I don't know where my inputs and outputs are right now. Wait, am I behind tier portal? I'm not supposed to be behind tier portal. I'm supposed to be in front of it. Boop. Wait, that didn't work. Yeah, here we go. I will try to hook up the guidelines thingy. Yeah, I also have it. If Adion, if you can find it and share it with everyone, that'd be great. I know it is out there. I think, why do I have black things everywhere? I think it's called something S7 programming guideline. So, I have created this watch table now, and I want to find out what is hooked up where. I know that my device here, if I go back to my device here, there is some inputs and outputs. Every little gray box here, so every little thing, this one says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything here could have a connection to a sensor or an actuator. So if I don't know what's connected where, I have to test them all out. And this is what I do with this watch table here. I will test them out, and I will just type I 0.0, which is input 0.0. This is where we think where the red push button could be. I would just type that down, and I know that my inputs could be wired for the next couple of inputs as well. So let's add some more, and you see I just dragged and dropped, and that's a little hint for TIA Portal here. If you see TIA Portal and you are in such a list, you can always select the box, and on the bottom right, very small, if you select the box very, very small, there is this little blue square. If you select the square, if you go above it with your mouse, you see it becomes a plus like in Excel. If I now drag and drop, you're just adding rows. If you want to override, you override, but you're just adding more rows. So that's for the inputs. So now I have this table and I want to test it if it works with my system. So right now the system becomes more important. So this one here becomes more important. What do we need to do? This right now is just in TIA Portal. So what do I want? I want to connect this, of course, to, well, you see that thing down there. I want to take this that's on here, and I want to shove it in down there. I want to shove it into the PLC. So I want to download it. You can see this one is not hooked up to my PC right now. So what we can do is we can start a simulation. And we can start a simulation. And to start the simulation, now TIA Portal becomes more important again. To start the simulation, I have to select here in this list on the left side. I can select the PLC1, that's the PLC I have created. And on top, this button here. This button here says simulate. If you go on top of it, it says start simulation. So if I press start simulation, which I'm going to do right now, it asks me, do you really want to do it? It's not safe, and so on and so on. I will just press yeah. Note that the know-how protection of blocks can be weakened by a simulation. So simulating is not safe. I know that. Everyone knows that. So here we go. I won't get to multi-instancing right now in this video, but on my channel there is a video about instancing, about multi-instancing, about parameter instance, about different instances. Just check out my channel. I clicked simulation, which means TIA Portal wants to connect to something right now. This is my connection window for TIA Portal, right? So this is my connection. And also because I pressed simulate, this thing popped up. This thing is my simulated S7 1500 PLC. You can see it. It says nicht konfigurierte PLC SIM 1500. That means not configured PLC 1500. It's set to German. I usually don't work with this. That's why it's still set to German. But this now exists, which means I want to take my program that I have and put it in there. I want to put it in there, and that's what I do right now. I can select a communication method here. So this window, a lot of people are usually confused with this window, which is actually not too difficult. On top, so this list here, this list shows us what we want to download. So this is in our project. This is on my PC right now. This is what we have configured so far. That's also why we have this PC here. Inside the PC is this right now. The next is all of these drop-downs. All of these drop-downs, they are all next to this line. This line is our connection method. We could connect to the PLC using PNIE, Profinet, Industrial Ethernet, or Profibus, because my PLC has those communication methods. I prefer Profinet. Also asks, hey, PLC SIM, yes, okay. And then it asks for the interface. Let's see if this is actually possible to see. Like for this PLC, you have here two connectors on the left and one connector to the right. So one of these is interface 1, this is interface 2. So it's just asking where is this goddamn plug plugged in right now. For the simulation, doesn't make a difference. I always try all interfaces because I don't care where I've plugged it in right now. Just try all of the interfaces if you can find it. So next thing that I want to do is just down there, the last part here. Right? The last part is this down here. This is in an orange frame. This orange frame says, hey, this is online. So this is online. We are asking here for the online things. So if I click now on start search, TIA Portal tries to find, you can see this turned green, it's a question mark here. TIA Portal now looks online, right? It looks online through the line if it can find something. And you see it found two things. It found two things, and those are those. The simulation here has two interfaces. I don't know if you can, good question, Kobe. You probably can deactivate the IP connectivity and just use Profibus, depending on your PLC. Every 1200 and 1500 has Profinet as the standard, so all of them have Profinet. Profibus is just additionally the same as teleservice. It's just additional. The standard thing nowadays is really Profinet. Gets more and more and more and more. I'm not sure if you can really deactivate it. I will just check it out in a minute. So now we found our PLCs here. I can basically select any of these because it's just a simulation I want to download to. And I can click load, which means I am now downloading my PLC, my program into the simulation down there, right? Just there. So if I now click load, you can see, bloop, it wants also no action. For safety reasons, usually it says here no action, meaning I downloaded the program now, and so that it does not run automatically for safety reasons, it's deactivated. We have to manually say start module. Now I tell the PLC, hey, it's safe to start. If I now click on finish, you will see that little orange guy there. You see that little orange guy there? This will turn green, saying it's started. It will first blink green-orange, indicating it is starting, and then it will just be green, meaning it's started, it's running. So you see it's blinking, 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 and there it is. It is now started and ready to go. No, it was both the simulation. If you check this, good question, Skill Zero. Do you see this? This simulation has actually both of those channels there. It has both two interfaces. That's why it asked me. No, ask me. You don't need PLC Sim Advanced for 1500s. PLC Sim Advanced you need for a couple other reasons. But not the topic right now. I will make a video about PLC Sim Advanced probably tomorrow. So now I have my simulation here running. And now I need to do one thing on the side because my simulation software here is not capable to communicate right now. That's why I need to set some things that you do not need to see because it's hidden. Because my software is still kind of shitty. So here we go. Now it's hooked up. So let's see. So now I can go back to my software here. And you see I have this box, it's sitting there. I have the buttons and I just want to find out where are those buttons connected. I do not need this window anymore, the PLC. Do not close it. If I close it, it's like the PLC is gone. If I minimize it, it's still there. So I want to minimize it so it's not in my way. Yes, if you turn on, yes, that didn't show up in my case, was correct. If you turn on the simulation, like I have this window, right? I have this window. If this window is open, the simulation here, this little one here, if this is open, I cannot communicate to the outside anymore. It's either simulation or real hardware. That's PLC Sim. PLC Sim Advanced can do both. PLC Sim Advanced can do both. Why do I have two IP addresses? Simple. Because the hardware I chose, the hardware I have here has 1 and 2 interfaces. It has 3 connections. Those 2 connections here have the same IP address, and this connection here has a different one. It acts in 2 different networks, which can be very useful. Not right now because it's beginner session. So I have my watch table. And I have my watch table and I want to test this. To test this Adler, that's a software I am currently creating. So I'll keep you posted about that. So to test my I/O list here right now, I can click on those little glasses. See it? 2 of those little glasses and they say monitor. So now I can go to my real system. I have downloaded the PLC. So right now, this stuff here. So this stuff is right now filled with this list. So that's in there, right? In my simulation. What I can do now is let's test if I press a button, right? I can press a button here. Wait a second, did I? Now I need to test why it doesn't work. But give me a minute. Now it should work. What did I do? 101, blah, 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 blah. Give me a second because I have tested this. Why does it not work? Start the server. Yes, please. Oh, I know why. I need to restart the simulation. I was worried for a second that it doesn't work. Let's see if it works now. So that was just my simulation. That's why I needed to restart. Watch table. Let's see in my little watch table here. So right now, if I press a button, you see, if I press this button, you see that the red button turns true. You see it? And if I press this button, it's the green button that turns true. All right? So I have these 2 push buttons, which are also already correct in the program. This is the red button. This is the green button. Works perfectly fine. What else would we need? Now this box needs to be put in sensors, right? We have this sensor, we have this sensor. So I need to test where those sensors are. So, yeah. just to answer the question here, those are definitely two different. Oh, what's going on there? You see this? Tier portal is acting up. That is not pretty. What is my tier portal doing? Ew. I have never seen tier portal doing that. It's ugly. Why? Tier portal? This is strange. I have never seen that. I will have to restart, I think. The tier portal at least. Because I can't work with it if it's doing this. That's kind of ugly. I just restarted very quick. Strange. That's very, very strange. Yeah. My tier portal is infected with corona. I do hope it is not. Logo is completely different. Logo is very, very, very different from tier portal because it is just for very basic logic circuits. Why is it still doing that? This is strange. This is... give me a second, my tier portal. Of course, that's the good old, how is it called? Vorführ effect in German. So I hope this helped. Maybe this helped. Yeah, perfect. Why is everything broken? I am sorry. What? Why does it look like that? That's pretty ugly. Wait, does it? Yes. What can I do about that? That's new. I've never had that. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to reboot because then I have to reload the what's it called? The stream and everything. That's gonna be annoying. Maybe it's the simulation. It's usually not the simulation. I can turn it off. My PC is too strong. My PC won't. It will not break. No, it's not the simulation. It can't be. Let me test. Maybe it was. I just turned it off. Sometimes it is actually PLC Sim, because PLC Sim, for some reason, it acts up sometimes. So there we go. That I don't know why. Now it's fixed. Strange days we live in. Now it's fixed. What? The 3D simulation is a thing that I made on my own. I will make some videos about it pretty soon, but it's not finished. So, good. Now that it works again, I hope now I can start PLC Sim again, because it might be broken now. I don't want to restart. That's stupid. So PLC Sim started. There it is. Also, orange light is on. That's good. Also downloading. That's also good. So everything seems to work. That's stupid. Why? I don't know what that was. Sometimes even I do not have answers. Good. Works again. Fine. So here we go. I have my PLC tags again. Right there I have my tags. And oh no, not my tags. We were at the watch table. Let me test. I want to go down with the resolution a bit for showing reasons, because it looks kind of shitty if I don't do it. So here we go. That took 5 minutes. That was useless. I am sorry. Yeah, troubleshooting is the best, but this was troubleshooting my PC, which right now was basically just restarting. So, good. Let's see. Watch tables. Watch table. Here we go. Hey, and this is an online class right now. And of course, this stuff always happens when I'm giving classes. Everything crashes. Like, everything is always broken. I don't know why. That's just how it is. So perfect example of an online class in this Corona crisis right now. That's how you do it. So let's see if this still works. So I can still press the buttons. Yes, great. Okay, now I want to find out, like I cannot take this box right now. In the simulation, I cannot take the box and put it in the sensor. I need to use the conveyor for it. How do I use the conveyor? How would I use the conveyor? The conveyor is connected to outputs. So in my watch table here, I can also create outputs to test the to test the system. I know that this conveyor is somehow from output 0.0 until output 1.7. So basically, I know it's somewhere on this line here. It is connected somewhere, but I don't know where because I did not make plans and I haven't written it down. So what I can do is I can, in my watch table, I can write Q 0.0, output 0.0, and I do the same that I did for inputs. I just take this little checkbox, right? This little square box here on the bottom, take it, drag and drop, and make a couple of rows. What you can see, I can do all of this. Watch tables, very cool things. You can do all of this while being online. Right? I didn't change the PLC program or anything. This is just a table. I don't need to download anything or so. This is just a table sitting on my PC to actually change things on the PLC and observe things on the PLC. So no need to download. I love those things. So now I can check out where my little box here, where my little conveyor is connected, where my little box will move. So I can right click on the output here and modify, and you see modify to 1 or modify to 0. If I click modify to 1, you see it turns true and the box just goes. You saw it? If I now put more boxes, you see output 0.0 is on all the time, which means output 0.0 seems to be conveyor this way. I am pretty sure that this is the case. Right? Those boxes humping each other. No, we do not have any logic. Stefan, I don't know. We have not written any logic yet. We're just testing out using this table. No logic yet. So Q0.0, that seems to be conveyor reverse. What I can now immediately do is I go to my tag table and I know here this was reverse, so I can change the address. And that's why we do this symbolic stuff, so that we can change the address very easily. Right? Very easily we can change the address. So Q0.0. I just type it down and it's done. Now this is the reverse. Right? Easy. But what do we need? We also need forward. We also need the 2 other sensors. So while the box is going reverse, you see this? Yeah, Profi. Yeah, but that's advanced. Caesar, that's advanced. Not going to happen this time. So when I put a box on here, I should see at some point that the light barrier turns on. You see the red little light barrier at the beginning of the belt? That should turn on. And you see it, one of those sensors actually turns on. Yeah, you need to be my army. Yes, please be my army. You see which one turns on? I can see one, it's I 1.0. So what can I immediately do? Let's go to my tag table, and I know conveyor tag table. I open it up, sensor beginning. What do I do? This is not I 0.2, this is I 1.0. Pretty easy, pretty simple. And now I could use this in my program, but first I need to find it out. That's why we have the watch table. So we're done with the reverse stuff and the sensor in the beginning. What do we need? The other things. So I will turn this back off, right click, modify to 0. Right, there's also a shortcut, a very useful shortcut. Control and F2 will turn a variable to true. Control and F3 will turn it off. Control F2 is on, F3 is off. So I will do this now with Q0.1. Let's see. Oh, I need a box. Boop. You see, belt is off. So Q01, Control F2, and this seems to be conveyor forward. And you see it, conveyor forward. And here we go. Q01 is conveyor forward. I will put that in my list. Q0.1. And the other thing we need to find out is where is the sensor connected to. Control F2 until we hit the sensor. And then I will stop the... So now we should have hit the sensor. So one of those things should be on. What's my motivation? The main motivation I have is I am very bored. And I'm developing this software down there, and, well, I want to test it. So why wouldn't I test it when live streaming and helping people? Also, one thing, don't tell anyone. Everyone that knows me says or thinks that I am actually not a nice guy. But I'm just doing this because I'm a nice guy. I'm having fun. I want to help others. But don't tell anyone. So now we know input 1.1, right? This one here is true. So that is our light barrier in the end there. So I will put that in my tag table. This is I1.1, right? Sensor in the end. So now we have our list, right? Now we have our list. We need a satisfactory plugin. Yeah, that is right. In my tag table, so if you create a new variable somewhere in your program, it will be called tag 1, tag 2, tag 3, tag 4, tag 5. That is just automatically happening for new things that you create. Yeah. So here in the watch table, you do not create a new variable. That's why they do not have names, right? You're just addressing, you're just using some things. That's why this is just for testing the watch table. That sounds great. Tell all your friends, tell your family, tell I don't know whom. So now that I have this list, right, this is done. This was just for testing. So what I will do is I can close my watch table now, and now I have my tag table here. I would now just download the tag table. Maybe one thing that you just saw, I was online, right? I was online, meaning, hey, we have indicators. Everything is here, green, orange, blue. There's a lot of stuff, right, going on in TIA Portal. I cannot download now. You see this button on the top? I cannot download right now. This button here. It's deactivated. You see it? It's deactivated. I cannot download. What I need to do first, so I can download the program. You see, program blocks, software I can do. If I click on the PLC itself, I cannot do because hardware changes. And changing the tag table, changing addresses, that is a hardware change. You can only do if you are offline. So I will need to hit offline first. So if I go offline, you see, if I now select my PLC here, this button is actually active and I can download. That's what I want to do right now. Download. It asks me, do you really want to download? Yeah, I want to download, of course. Adrian, for now, I am only working with Siemens PLCs. I will try to make my software that you see here on the bottom, I will try to make that for Omron and Mitsubishi as well. But for now, and Alan Bradley, of course. But for now, I exclusively work with Siemens PLCs. In the end, they're all alike. Not the same, but alike. So now I have my list. I could also go online here and check it out. You see, one thing right now is on. My sensor in the end is true. Here, sensor in the end is true. It's this one. Let's select the line. Why is this one true? If we check it down here. Yeah, of course, there's something in there. There's a box in there. What I can do right now is I would need to take the box and put it away, right? I can do this in the software. I just hit R, which is reset the software, and there we go, right? So, good. Now, Sanjeet Singh, I can say your name. Oh, Rockwell, right. I forgot Rockwell PLCs. So, next thing that we need to do is we need to write a program. So now we need to write a program logic, right? That's why we have PLCs. If it would just be to collect signals, that's not why you have a PLC. We do want to do things. So let's do the most simple thing and just, if I hit the red button is conveyor goes reverse this way, green button, conveyor forward this way, right? So that Pressing buttons does something. That's what we want to do. And that's also what I will do. So I will go to my main function here in program blocks. Program blocks is your software logic. This is where you store your program. And in here, let's zoom in a little bit. In here I have this line. Depending on, there's many different programming languages. If I right click on my main here, I can go to switch programming language. This could be now in 3 different ones. STL, LAD, or FBD. I cannot select STL right now because that is only available. Why can I not? Strange. Should be able, but okay. So right now we are programming in LAD, ladder logic. That is internationally the most used programming language out there for PLCs. I think the most used programming language is probably like C# or something, or Java. Is Java still? No, C# is the new Java. I think C#, I don't know. But we are going to use LAD, ladder logic, which is really the most used one. For one simple reason, it looks like a wiring diagram. So we're using this programming language. It's basically not programming if you ask me, but that's okay. We're using that programming language so that also the electrician can read the program. Everyone could read the program. In the main, I can always insert. If you right click, you can always insert an STL, an STL or SCL network, which we're not going to do right now. But I was wondering why I can't translate the whole thing. I don't know right now, Damir. I would have to get back to my emails. There's quite a lot these days. So let's program the logic, right? Let's program the logic. So on here, what I want to do is, of course, I want to have this thing here. This is a normally open contact, right? A normally open contact, which can be used for input logics. So this right now, as it is open. You can see it's just open, so it's disconnected. That's how it is. If it is not activated, it will stay disconnected, so no logic will flow through. We will have to close it. And when is it closed? We have to tell the machine. And here we have those 3 question marks on top. Now we have many different ways. I can either double click in those, and there's this little list right next to it. Right? And if I click on this little list, it will show me everything that I have, everything that could be put here. So what do we want to take if we need to go this way? Wait, let me actually go down here. If you want to go this way, push the box this way, this is when the red push button is pressed. So this is where I would put the red button. So I can select this drop down here, and I have called it red button, so I would just select the red button. Whoop, that's it. And here in the end, the next thing I need to do there is what should be activated when this red button is pressed. And this is here. You see this? This is an assignment, and we use this assignment to turn on the conveyor in that direction, in the reverse direction, which is... No. It works. I wanted to... It almost crashed, but my software doesn't crash. No. It is this thing. This thing here is a contactor which activates this motor, and then the box goes reverse. Right? So we need to activate this reverse thingy, which I in the program also call reverse. So I can also type in just reverse, and that's then on this. Now the best thing that you could do is directly give this this so-called network, this one logic thing here, this little network, a title that describes it, and that would be conveyor reverse, I will call it. So if I now save the project, I will also download it to my simulation, and that should directly download. Let me see. This one here. Error. So right now it says error. Something with my simulation crashed. What is going on? What is going on? Like, I tested this. I usually work with this like really long hours, and nothing happens. Nothing at all. And now we had this crash where TIA Portal messed up. Now my simulation is messed up. How does that happen? How does that happen? Now everything's broken. I hope that it will restart. It might. I don't know. So I have restarted it, and I hope my simulation works now. This is annoying. Yeah, the book by Hans Berger is pretty good, but I don't know if it's available in English, actually. So right now I have this, and it does not want to communicate to my PLC. I have spelled conveyor with a V. Impossible. Yeah, might be. I think now everything is just... Well, Spotify opens. What the fun is going on? So this is this. That still works. So that still works. Let's see. No. What? Now everything crashed. Now I need to go in my task manager. How is that? How is that? In German, we have a word for it. It's the so-called Vorführeffekt. It's a Vorführeffekt. It's because you're watching, everything crashes. It's the Vorführeffekt, which basically makes everything go boom. So now I have done this. I have to... Sorry, I need to restart here some things. So that's okay. It just says okay. Let's see if... One minute. I don't know why. It's not my program that crashed. It's a different program that I need to run my program. So now it should work again. It should, theoretically. Theoretically, it should work again. No promises here. Who is it? Who broke it? Yeah, it's the evil eye. Yeah, these days working with version 11 and 12. No. Version 11 is actually... I think it was never supposed to be put out for the public. It was just a testing version. And 12 still has so many issues. 15 is good. Right now, I don't know what it is. I am running too many programs at the same time right now. Also with my simulation and everything, it's not tested exactly. Yeah. So here we go. I will download again. I will definitely... Yeah, see, my simulation also kind of crashed. Load. Sorry. Good. Now it is back in my... It's the coronavirus. It got my PC. God damn it. So it is back in the simulation here. Everyone's saying, yeah, it's the coronavirus. It can't be anything else. So now the box is on here, right? So I put a box, and now let's go back online here. So let's go back online here. And as soon as I press the button, right? As soon as I press the button, it should turn active in here. It should turn active. So let's see, red button. Yeah, that perfectly works. That just works, yeah. Yeah, perfect. Give me just a second. So, sorry, this is really just because, yeah, here we go. Just because I am here. This is also new for me, this whole streaming and teaching thing. And also with the software. So I press the button and the motor goes forward. You see? Or reverse. Boop. There we go. Now it dropped down there. So next thing that we need to do is if I press the green button, it should go forward. So that is now very, very easy, very simple. I can just change the program here. I will add a new thing. I can basically copy from what I have on top here. Oops. I can copy from what I have on top here. Take this, Control C or right click, copy and paste. There I have the red button. No, I want the green button, and the green button should be forward. Very simple, very easy. Download. I will also go online. And now if I press the red button, you see it should go in reverse. If I press the green button, it should go forward. Let's put the box forward, reverse. Right, whenever I press the button. So that works. Sorry for the technical issues. It's just the technical stuff. The rest works perfectly fine. Yeah, wait for 16. Wait, I also had some issues with 16. I have to admit. That's why you see it in the top of the top of the screen there. It says 15.1. So I'm also using version 15.1, not 16 yet. I will use it probably in a year, in half a year or so. So let's do one more thing because it's already an hour. Let's do one more thing. 1K, you are right. You are right. I wrote it with a V. Here we go. Conseil. I flipped those letters. How is that possible? Thanks for pointing it out. Russian magic for Tia. So, yes. I want to activate the conveyor going forward by pressing the red button, and I want to deactivate it by pressing the green button. Right? So activate, deactivate using the buttons, right? Activating, deactivating. So in my, this should be forward as well. So when the green button is pressed, it should go forward. That's it, right? So I don't want this stuff that I have anymore, so I can just select it and delete it. Bop, bop. And let's do this here. In here, right, we can have instructions on the right side. So what I'm searching for is on the red button, it's on the green button, it's off. This is a so-called set and reset, right? A set and reset logic, a flip-flop. I cannot press both buttons, but if both buttons are pressed, good point. So let's go in bit logic here. There is a set and reset, an SR, and there is also an RS. So depending on which button, right? Depending on which button is pressed, right? We have prioritization. Let's take the RS first. And on the R means reset, meaning turn off. I want the red button. On the S for set, meaning turn on, I want the green button, right? And on top here, you do not need to put anything on the right side here. The right side is just a feedback, right? It's just the feedback telling you what the status is. You don't need to do anything here. You can, but you don't need to. On top here, this is where we need to put our conveyor, right? This is where we need to put our forward. So I put the forward. I will now download my program. And I will download my program. Boop, boop. And let's see, I can go online. And those are just the basics, right? Those are just the basics. Now if I put the box, I press the green button is set. You see it's going forward, it's on, and red turns off. Right? So if I leave it on, I can just put a billion boxes. Just a billion boxes until I press the red button, and then the boxes are saved. Ah, that one I couldn't save. Yeah, that one is safe. Almost on the brink of falling down, but it's saved. And not anymore. So, if I would now press both buttons at the same time, which I can I do it? Can I hit them both? No, I cannot hit them both. If I would hit them both at the same time, that would mean this would activate, reset would activate, and also set would activate. And there, if the set activates after the reset, that means the set is dominant. It's stronger. So with an RS, the conveyor would be on if I press both buttons. If you want it the other way around, if you want the conveyor to be off if both buttons are pressed, you take an SR, where it sets and then resets, where the reset is stronger. So if I press both buttons in the SR, so if I would make this to an SR actually, like this, the red button goes here, the green button goes there. If I have it like this with an SR, the stop button is stronger. Yeah. There is no name yet. Luca, there is no name. It has no name yet. It's Factory Sim. So far it's called Factory Sim. Yeah. Yeah, I cannot press both buttons at the same time. So let's do one or two more things. Yeah, the last letter decides. RS, the set is stronger. SR, the R is stronger. That's how we have it. So, yeah, we have this now. So we could go on. What else do I want to do? We could do a lot of things with this now. Yeah, maybe let's do a very simple, easy thing. I want to count. Let's do a very, very simple, easy thing. I want to count. Right now there's a box. I push the box, and right now it's 0, 0, 0, 0, and one box. Right? We have one box now. So I want to count the boxes that pass this sensor. So what do we need to do? It's very, very, very simple actually. Is we go into the second network here, and here we can put something called a counter. This is here in our counter operation, and there we have the CTU, a count up. A count up, so I can just take that and put it here on the line, just drag and drop. Now, very important, a pop-up window is going to appear. This pop-up window gives you the chance to give your counter a name. Let's give this a name, pieces produced or something. Pieces produced. This gives us the name. For every single counter that you use in your program, you need a unique name. They all need a different name. So whenever you create a counter, take a different name. Very, very important. Also, when you copy and paste. If you copy and paste, never, or you can copy and paste, but if you copy and paste, change the name of the counter afterwards. Right? If I hit OK, I can now, an example, I take this, I take the network, I hit Control C, Control V, and there is now two counters with the same name. See, they're both pieces produced. This will not work. I would need to rename this, and it's really enough to just rename it. I could just say counter 2. Right? This will create a new counter, and now those are independent. So be careful when copying and pasting. Never give your counters the same name. So this counter, very simple. I want to produce, let's say, boxes of 5. Boxes of 5. So I need on the PV, that's the value we want to reach. 5 in our case. That's what I want to reach. Right? 5. Then I need a CU. CU is our count input or count up. So if this gets activated, we will count up. So let's put something there. What do we want to put? The sensor end. So I will just put a normally open line here. The sensor in the end. So sensor end. Done. This is already our counter. That's it. We don't need anything more. Right? It will not work exactly as we want. We have to change one thing, you will see. But that's our counter. So let's go online. I'll download it. Let's go online. You see right now the count value is displayed on top. So if I now produce a piece here, does that still work? Yeah. I produce a piece and it goes into the light barrier. And you see, oh, it already works. Right, that's pretty smart. It already works. So we have one piece produced. That's 2, 3, and 4. Right? So we'll count 2, 3, and 4. So pretty easy, pretty cool, pretty simple. If I now have the 5, so you see here, there's a Q output, right? This counter gives me a feedback if we have reached the 5. If we have reached the 5, this gives me a feedback. So if I now put one more piece, let's see what happens with the counter. It will turn green. Because right now, we have reached those 5 pieces. Now we could turn a light on, or we could actually turn off the conveyor, or we could do a lot of things back here. Right? We could do anything with this now. If I want to turn off the conveyor, I could, for example, go here, have a parallel branch to our red push button, normally open contact, and I can just take this output, this Q, I can just put up there. And it has a name. This thing here is called pieces produced. That's my counter. And I can go to pieces produced.q, which is this. So pieces produced.qu. and QU is count up. So if I do this, if I download now, you will see we have 5 pieces produced. If I now want to make one more, what's going to happen? The belt is off. So you see it, the belt is off because my pieces produced is actually on. So it doesn't matter if I put a billion more pieces, it won't continue, right? Woo! The standard counter, this one here, has a rising edge detection. That's the standard counter. It has a rising edge detection already integrated. Yeah. Woo! That's so much fun, I'm sorry. I wonder how many boxes I can create before it breaks. Good. So, but now we have a little problem. Now we have a little problem that this one, right? That this one, it does not reset. It keeps the 5. So how can I get back? I right click, I can modify it, but that's not something I want to do. I want to reset it. Let's say red button. If I press the red button, it is reset, and then I can restart the belt. Very simple. So now you see it, it has 5. I press it again, now it's 0. There we go. And there's one box. I put it here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see we produced 5 and the conveyor stops because, well, 5, that's all we need. And now basically process is done, day is done, and now right now we can't exceed 5. But if we would exceed 5, like if this would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know why I can't modify it right now, but that's how it is. If we would get higher, 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 it will not give an error. This Q will just be on. So this says if the value is 5 in this case or higher, right? 5 or higher, it will not give an error. We could program one, but that's more. We won't touch that. Just basic right now. So to activate this again, what do I need to do? I can't press the green button, won't start. I have to reset my counter first, red button, boop, reset the counter. You see, back to 0, green button. Let's produce the next 5. I love those boxes. Ready? Next box is filled, next charge is done. I say, hey, next box, and produce 5 more. Right? Here we go. And whenever we reached 5, you see it. Oh, this one is about to fall. Oh, it's going to fall. It's going to fall. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So, how long was this? So, yeah. That's really basics. There's, of course, way more we could do now. There's way more we could do. But for now, I think that's been how long? Yeah, that's more than a lesson. Usually my lessons are 45 minutes. No, 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours long. So we have still 15 minutes. We still have 15 minutes. That's good. So in 15 minutes, we're going to be done. Do you have questions so far? Questions so far? Just put them in the chat. I had a problem with the up and down counter. I count up, down, where the counting down only stops at 0 and not the lower. Kobe, that could be. This could be because you can set. You see this? If you have your counter, you can select the data type. If you right now, right here, select uint, for whatever reason, it could happen. If you have uint, u means unsigned, meaning you cannot go in the negative area. Right? You cannot go in the negative area, so you have to be careful which data type you take. I usually leave it at int, because int goes from minus 32,000 something to plus 32,000 something. So, yeah, one package is still fighting. Yeah, it could have been a data type. Usually this counter also counts to negative if you take a count up and down. Oh, how would you do a PCS7 SFC with hold, resume, running, etc.? Oh, that would take way more. This is already advanced meager. But here's what I would do. I would probably use PCS7 because we have step 7, and TIA Portal is also used on based on step 7. Step 7 is an abbreviation in German, and I will write down what it means. Give me a second. Step 7 means Step 7 means this, that is going to pop up in the chat every second now. There it is. It means Steuerungen einfach programmieren, which means easy programming of controllers. So easy programming of controllers, which is not meant to be very, very complex, very complicated. If you want to go complex, like with processes in the whole factory, there you would usually use PCS7, which is a process control system where you also control processes, huge networking, and so on and so on. TIA Portal Step 7 is usually based for basic programming issues. Of course, that could be a whole factory line, but not really much more. If you go really, really big, that's usually PCS7. And there's something new in the making. There is something new in the making, and that is called that is called PCS Neo. Well, that looks shitty. I hate Siemens websites because they are never good. The new thing, if you want to create something like PCS7, you could go with PCS Neo. That's the name, Semantic PCS Neo, which is a new, which is basically PCS7, the TIA Portal for PCS7. I think it came out like 2 months ago or so. It's very, very new. Yeah. So I saw something. How could you ensure that your counter only counts rising edge or low or falling edge? So my counter, here. The standard of this counter is that it detects the rising edge on the sensor. That's just how it is. It just detects the rising edge. If you want to make sure that it detects, hey, that when let's. Yeah, my simulation tool always works. It's the best tool in the world. Oh, there it is. Whoops. Yeah, now everything is broken. Yeah, I would show it, but I can't because it's broken right now. What you could do to have here a rising or falling edge detection, to change it, is that input here that I have. I could change this sensor. I just click in here, and there's this little yellow box on the top right. And here I can make a P for positive edge detection or N for negative edge, meaning the sensor gets deactivated, that's an N, then we would count up, or a P if something gets into the sensor, then we count up. Right? So positive or negative edge detection, that's what we can do here in front. Just be careful when you do this. Let's make an N. Just be careful when you do this. You have to connect here something down there, which is a memory bit, just some memory bit. I will take M00 because I haven't taken any. And for every edge detection that you have to take a different one. Yeah. So, but that's a different lesson. That's a different session. What is the name of the... It doesn't work yet. Like the simulation I have showed. Wait a second. I will put the link in the description below. It doesn't work yet. I will make a video like this or next week. The simulation that you see on the bottom right, this one here, it's my own simulation. It is called, I don't even have a name. It's Hegermold's Automation Playground. That's its official name right now. It's my automation playground. It's just for testing out things. I am really developing that. I am working pretty hard on this. It's a lot of work, and I will definitely go on and improve it. How do you put analog? Oh, analog values, whoops. Analog values are a completely different topic. They are very difficult, Clement. Well, that can't be covered in a minute or two. I will definitely make a different session on it. But I have a video, right? So we have what? I have 10 minutes left, but that's okay. Um, so Clement, check out my channel. There is also, I have set up a playlist for analog programming, and also CLC, closed loop controls. So check out on my channel. There's a lot of programming content. So everyone I will definitely make a live one about analog programming, but not right now. I will have to create the system. I created this system today. Like everything you see today, I especially created for today, which took me yesterday and in the morning a couple of hours. So yeah, I will also make a tank system, an analog thing, but it will definitely take some time. How is my typical workday? Um, Adrian, good question. Good question. My typical workday. I'm a trainer right now, so I used to be in industry, but just for a year and a half. Um, uh, but I am a trainer. My daily life is basically training people. So what I'm doing right now, but in front of a class, in front of also industrial trainers, industrial engineers, programmers. That's what I'm doing for a living. So it's more really teaching. Sometimes I get called by one of my students or one of my teachers that I train and help them out in the factories, but that's not my everyday business. My everyday business is really teaching, training. Yeah, that's that's one of the reasons why I now have time to create content. Right? I can't create content because, well, I am home. School is canceled for until no one knows. At least for 2 months, I would say school is canceled. So I am not fired, but I do not have to do as much as I usually have to do. I went down with my working hours so much. So I have time. Standards and PLC programming from automotive, like there are definitely standards, but I'm not a fan of using standards. Because there's many out there and a lot of people use different ones. So I am not a fan, and they develop over time. And I know some, but I hate adapting every year to a new one. Wait, too many. I can't scroll this fast. I can't read. How can I get a normally closed contact with? Wait, how can you get contact with me in the future? Just through my YouTube channel. That's the best place for now. Just watch my videos, leave comments. I try to answer them to get to them. Yeah, that's how I do. You're reading a book. That's pretty cool. Computers at Work, published in 1971. Imagine 1971. A lot has changed since then. I am not a representative of Siemens. I am working for a different company, so I'm not Siemens. I do Siemens trainings, but not on a day. Like that's not my main business. I also do other things. Which software is used to program Schneider PLCs? I don't know. I am using Siemens PLCs. Analog scaling for the 300 skill 0, I might do it. I probably won't, because I'm concentrating on the 1500s. So I'm more concentrating on those things, right? More really concentrating the 1500s. The 300s, I might touch it. We will see. So thank you for the live stream. You are very welcome. If I create programs, like if I have an industry project, no, I don't do the commissioning on there. Usually someone else does the commissioning, but no. I don't do too many industry projects these days. I help a lot of people and I'm there with the commissioning, but I do not put my look at these hands. Like I have not really worked with those, right? Going to have a course on Siemens servos. Oh yeah, I should be in a Siemens. I should be giving a Siemens training right now, but it got canceled. It got canceled because of the virus. Yeah, same here. So stick with the 1500s. That's good. Alessia, I will definitely stick with them because they are kind of the future for this. Let's see how it's going to be in a couple of years. Schneider could be Zeliosoft. Might be. I don't know. Safety, I still have safety on my list, but the problem is I do not have the hardware for safety here. I just have the standard PLCs. The safety programming I would need to do when I am in a Siemens site, or I would need to get new equipment, but it's quite expensive, the safety ones, so I don't have one. So I will do something with safety in the future, but it will take some time until I get my hands on some of the yellow, and the safety ones are yellow, so until I get my hands on the yellow stuff, it might take some time. It will take some time. If I do no, I don't do proper documentation. Like my programs are clean. That's the thing. They do not need documentation. They are pretty clean. That's why I do commenting every here and there, but I prefer really making the program clean from the beginning on. RFID, I will try. But same problem. RFID has the same problem as safety. I do not have the hardware here. I might make one with an Arduino. That would be interesting, but might. Good links for safety programming, not really, except for the Siemens side. Yeah, not really have one. Profinet devices and their mapping. You said that now 3 times, Caesar. I will definitely get my hands on that. How am I? I think that's the last question for today. I love that question. How am I, from Rohan? Oh, OPC. That's also a very important topic. I definitely get my hands on it, but I can't do it yet because I have to learn it myself. Question from Rowan, how am I? I am great. This was fun, actually. I might do it. I will definitely do it a couple of times throughout the next week or two because, well, the corona got not all of us, but a lot of us actually bound to our places. But I like to put something out there so people can still learn. People don't have to sit home. Or they have to sit home, but they have something to do. You will advocate trying to get me some free hardware? Alesha, that'd be great. But I can get my hands. Don't get me wrong. I have so many contacts within Siemens, so I can get my hands on stuff as well. But there's only so much I can do, and it's not highest on my list. That's why I can definitely get my hands on some. But thank you very much. Good. We could go on for hours and hours, as I see, but for now, I will also need to take a break because it's 1.5 hours. Thank you for joining. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you are up to date. I will let you know. Like today, I will put out a comment on my on my channel that you will also that you have the chance to be there in time. Like today, a couple of hours early, definitely. So that was definitely fun. Do I disinfect my computer? I actually do. I have disinfectant here. I have this hand gel here, so I do it every once in a while. Good question. So everyone, stay safe out there or at home. Just stay safe. Make sure you're healthy and keep up the good work. Keep up learning. And I will see you the next time around. Don't forget to like and subscribe, right? So you are up to date. Thanks for joining and bye-bye. Have a nice day.